So welcome to this week's episode of Hot Boxing Talk, South Africa's very own online boxing talk. So we are talking about Triple G, and I thought I'd bring him out, my good old friend Rob Katz, who knows everything about boxing, or so he claims, and we're going to be talking about Triple G. Rob, welcome back. 36-0, 23 knockouts in a row, 33 knockouts. Triple G, for me, the most exciting fight in the world. Why is he so exciting, besides the fact that he knocks guys out?
Carl, I agree with you. He is the most exciting fighter in the world, and I think there are many reasons for it. You know, if you look technically at Triple G, he's very, very well balanced. And I think, you know, his balance is his biggest strength. He hits hard, he can take a shot.
And he's not scared to take a shot.
No, he's not scared to take a shot. But, you know, he's got perfect balance. And because of the balance, he's positioned to take shots and give shots. And that's what really makes him a great fighter.
So let's talk about that, because one of the critics will say, well, he's easy to hit. But for me, that vulnerability in his arsenal makes him exciting to watch. Do you think that he has a defensive problem, or do you think that he likes to entertain and take punches on purpose?
Look, you know, if you look at the best defensive fighter of our era, certainly Floyd.
Yeah.
Floyd never stood in front of you to take shots.
But he's boring.
He's boring, that's the point. Now, Triple G stands in front of you, so he's not as good defensively as Floyd, but he takes you out. Floyd didn't take you out, but you can't compare him defensively to Floyd. So you've really got to see, what are you looking for? Are you looking for exciting knockout punching, or are you looking for defensive skills?
Absolutely.
They don't come, only in Sugar Ray Robinson do they come together.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you come to boxing for knockouts, and you go to F1 for thrills and spills. Let me talk about Kell Brook's performance, because I actually give him an 8 out of 10. I thought he took some hard shots. He got buckled badly in the first round, but he stood his ground and he really fought his heart out. How do you rate Kell Brook's performance?
I thought it was 8 out of 10. I thought he really, really fought well. You know, I thought that he'd go 8 rounds and do, you know, an Isaac Chalembi kind of a thing, you know, spoil, move. But Kell Brook came to fight. Give him credit. He came to fight.
Absolutely.
And he gave Golovkin a hell of a fight.
So he's got a cracked orbital. I think he had surgery this week. Let's talk about the corner stopping the fight. I thought it was a perfectly timed stoppage. What's your opinion?
Perfectly timed. You know, he was taking shots. How
did you score the fight? Because I had a 2-all going into the fifth.
I did. I also had a 2-all, but, and this is the thing, is that Golovkin was coming onto him just physically. It's almost irrelevant what the scoring so early in a fight was going to be, but it was a right stoppage. You know, at least Kell Brook can fight another day. He didn't really get hurt. He was taking shots at the end. It was a matter of time before he would have got stopped.
So where does Kell Brook go from that? Does he drop down, because he said he's not going to fight at 147 anymore,
Yes.
Go down to light middle? He looks like a strong guy at that weight. What do you think's next for him?
I think that light middle. You know, the truth is the matter, he put up a tremendous fight at middle, but he wasn't comfortable carrying the extra weight. Now, he looked strong, he looked big, but he wasn't a natural middle. And to compete with natural middles, you've got to have natural middleweight strength.
And that was evident from the first round. Let's talk about Gennady Golovkin. Where does he go from here?
Well, I think the fight that the whole world wants to see is Golovkin versus Canelo. He can fight Billy Joe Saunders, and he can have these kind of wins, but, you know, really doesn't move Golovkin into super status for all time. He's got to beat Canelo. If he beats Canelo, I think he elevates his status forever.
So the one criticism that comes to Golovkin is who's he beaten? But that's not his fault, because he's beaten everyone who's been put in front of him.
Yes.
What do you think of that of that criticism that he hasn't beaten anyone?
He's beaten whoever he's been put in front of. The truth of the matter is that I think people don't want to fight him, because he's not the kind of guy you're going to look good against. He's got immense physical strength. He can do it all, and he can hurt you. So, in fairness to Golovkin, whoever's been put in front of him, he's fought and taken out.
So he's 33, 34 now. How much time do you think he has left in boxing?
Look, he's been boxing a long time. As an amateur, he had a stellar amateur career. He won silver at the Olympics. So he's been in the game a long time, but he hasn't really taken a lot of punishment. So because of the fact that he hasn't taken a lot of punishment, he can go a little bit longer. But Father Time catches up with every single solitary boxer, and I would say he's got another 2 years, but he has to fight Canelo in those 2 years.
Considering, you know, Mayweather fought until he was like...
But it was a different style. You see, Mayweather never took punishment, and he moved, and he wasn't as active in the ring as Golovkin was.
So you watch Floyd Mayweather come back possibly for his 50th fight. Do you wake up and watch that, or do you watch Triple G's next fight?
Without a doubt, Triple G. Without a doubt. So I wouldn't want to see Floyd come back.
Rob Katz, great speaking to you, catching us right here on Hot Boxing Talk.
Wonderful.
this weekend we have an epic Southpaw showdown for the WBO Cruiserweight Championship of the World. We have the Olympic gold medalist who's undefeated as a professional, Alexander Usyk, taking on the current WBO Cruiserweight Champion of the World, Krzysztof Glowacki. And we all know Glowacki is famous for knocking out Marco Huck, who is the reigning Cruiserweight champion for a long time. He came in and did the damage. But on the other hand, we have an absolute beast called Alexander Usyk. The guy is one of my favorite fighters if you rule out Vasyl Lomachenko. I mean, Usyk's taken out 3 South Africans. Not that that has anything to do with the world scale, but the fact that he's done it from a local interest is very interesting. You know, taking out the likes of Brevet, Donnie Fenter, and Johnny the Hurricane Miller. You know, all 3 of those guys had fallen victim to him inside the distance. So Usyk's one of my favorite fighters out there, just from what I've seen so far. And Glowacki as well put on a great fight against Marco Huck. You know, as I said before, Huck, one of the reigning cruiserweight champions of all time, one of the best. And this guy just came in from Poland, having never fought outside his home country, to knock out Marco Huck is an incredible feat. And that's what's going to make this an epic fight. I can't see anything but an epic fight happening between these two. Both are hard hitters. Usyk, a very technical boxer, very scary man is Alexander Usyk, which is probably why I'm going to favor Usyk to take this, just based on his amateur pedigree. But coming into the professionals, he really looks like a great boxer and looks like one of the pound for pound guys. Even despite the fact that he's the challenger, I have him as the favorite, and I'm sure most of the world has him as the favorite, which is now why I'm going to make my prediction and say Alexander Usyk for the W.
This Sunday, Warren Joubert takes on Chifio Munyai. This is the other Chifio Munyai, Timer Munyai. Munyai has been impressive lately. He was a bit slow earlier in his career, but he's been notching up wins and he's looked good. So he's challenging Warren Joubert for the SA Junior welterweight title. What do I think? I say Joubert is far too experienced. He's got this class. I don't see Munyai giving Joubert problems, but this is boxing. Anything can happen. But I've got to go with Joubert, either by a late stoppage or a comfortable unanimous decision. Now we're talking about Canelo Alvarez versus Liam Smith, fighting for Smith's WBO junior middleweight title. How do you see that fight going?
Look, honestly, Cyril, I don't know much about Liam Smith. I know a lot about Canelo Alvarez, but Liam Smith, he's won the title. He's defended it twice against relatively small names if you consider the world scale. I mean, I don't really know who the guys are, but yeah, I'm expecting a good fight.
Well, I think Canelo, the pressure's on Canelo. He has to not only win, but win impressively. With Golovkin having just stopped Cal Brook, he has to look better than what Golovkin looked like over the weekend.
Yeah, look, all the pressure's on Canelo Alvarez. There's no pressure on Liam Smith. No one really comes in and says that they're a Liam Smith supporter and they get to see him as the victor, especially if you're not from the UK. So, yeah, all the pressure's on Canelo Alvarez.
I suppose for Smith, it's a chance for him to get his name out there and impressive. Even if he looks impressive in defeat, it's still good for him.
Absolutely. If he does look impressive against Canelo Alvarez, there's big fights out there for him. You know, he comes from a very good family of boxers, so I'd expect that he won't put up a Palooka's performance, but I do actually expect him to put on a good performance. But just Canelo Alvarez is such a big name, you definitely got to put him down as the favourite.
So what round?
Oh, what round? So we're anticipating a knockout, yeah. So look, I'm thinking later rounds, and that's purely because of the unexpected. How do you prepare for someone that you don't see that you don't see often enough? And what do you think?
Yeah, I have to agree. I think around the 8th and 9th round.
Okay. So nice and late from us here at Hot Boxing Talk, and yep, we'll see you again next week.